What's going on, ladies and gents? Rocco Brown here from MyGamingJourney.com, and we are back with another 1v1 ranked match on the ranked ladder, of course. If you're new here, I primarily main House of Lancaster. That's my primary go-to civ. I do play a little bit of Japanese, some English, and some Ottomans as well. But if you've checked out any of my prior videos, you have seen House of Lancaster again and again and again. So at the time of this recording, I was a gold 3 and my opponent was a platinum 1. So let's dive into the game and let's see what's in store. So with that being said, I post these videos because I am trying to get better. Naturally, I'm looking for your feedback. Any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them below. Just make sure two things occur. Number one, you remain respectful. And number two, we make sure that things stay on topic. Okay? I don't want to discuss anything other than the game. All right. So, my opponent is a Knights Templar. Naturally, I am House of Lancaster, as I mentioned. How I like to primarily open, I am going to open with moving all of my villagers over to sheep. And then I'm going to rally my next three villagers on the gold and then rally back onto food, until I'm able to age up from there. So, scouting around, trying to get my hands on some sheep, of course, seeing what my opponent is doing, and trying to get my eyes on any early telltale signs just to give me an idea of what he may or may not be doing. So that's currently what we have going on. Raleigh got those three on to gold at this point in time, and rallying back on the food as I mentioned, just until I'm able to age up. So scouting around my opponent. Um, just to see what sheep I may be able to find behind his base, because more than likely he went to my side of the map, and he's going to try to get the sheep on my side of the map. Just my assumption, primarily what tends to happen, in 1v1s for the most part. So, 7 on food, currently 3 on gold. I'm still rallying around just to see what may or may not be happening with my opponent. And naturally, with spawns being so close, I'm trying to, my mindset at the time was, let me try to get my hands on sheep, drop sheep off, and then get back to scout my opponent. Because most of my opponents, I've noticed, right, if someone's going up against the House of Lancaster player, primarily what they want to do is the majority of the time they like to be aggressive because they assume that House of Lancaster players are just going to idly drop down manners and try to get away with as much as they can without producing any units, right? So with it being a short spawn distance between me and my opponent, my thought process was, let me try to ensure that I get back, drop sheep off, get a decent scout off, around the map, and then get my eyes on my opponent and see what he may or may not be doing. All right, so let's see how that plays out. As of now, I do see 2 of the sacred sites. I don't remember if there was 3 on this map. I believe there are, but naturally, as of now, I have access to seeing at least 2 of them. One in the middle between me and my opponent, one on the far left, and then the third one, naturally, um, I would imagine would be over in this area. Um, so fortunately, I can't see just based off of the replay, but I believe there were 3 sacreds on this map. So that's what we have going on right now, ladies and gents. The current splits: 3 on food, 6 on wood, 3 on stone, and then I have my original 3 villagers that were mining gold. They're actually the ones that are creating my building my Lancaster castle. So the ones who are currently on the age up building. So it's kind of what we have going on. My opponent aged up before I did, and my thought process, I was like, let me get eyes to see. I'm literally going to take my scout and move him down here and then around. But if I could do it over again, I wanted to basically look for that final sacred site. That was my idea at the time. But if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have went this scenic route down here with my scout. I would have literally just went back to my opponent's base. These spawns are a little too close. And a little too close for comfort, and I need to be able to see what my opponent is doing sooner than later, right? In my, not only my gold knowledge, but my gold skill ability, I need to be able to have ample amount of time to react if need be. Other individuals who are a lot better than myself, they can turn around and do a full map scout and be able to react, when an opponent is a lot closer. I need ample amount of time to do so, and ideally that's one of the reasons I wish I would have started scouting, or got back to my opponent's base a lot quicker. That's how I would describe it, right? So current split: 3 food, 8 wood, 5 gold, 3 stone still, right? So making my way back over to my opponent, and I'm like, look what I see, blacksmith. So I know he wants to get aggressive, archery range. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's definitely going to research Battering Ram technology. And in addition to that, there is a, come back down really quickly. I saw the blacksmith, I saw the archery range. I'm like, okay, this may be a lot more dire than I thought because it's already built. I don't even have any production buildings as of yet. So I'm already behind in the sense of I don't know how long he's been producing. And then I see this one rallying across. I don't know if that's the first one, the fifth one, the third one. I have no clue, right? So now I'm like, all right, I got to start getting my own production up. I need to start getting units. There's a lot that needs to happen here. And since I only saw, what's it called? I'm like, oh Lord. So since I only saw a battering ram and I saw an archery range, I'm like, all right, the move here is let me get out my demi lancers, right? The horses will definitely help in that regard, and I'll use the demi lancers and my own archers to basically go to work from there. That's the thought process, right? So I'm like, all right, let me see if I can get some damage done there. Don't want to draw out too much because I know there's archers behind it. And I'm like, oh god, there's a lot of archers. So I'm panicking, y'all. Try not to panic. Let me not say that. I'm not panicking, quote unquote, yet, but I'm trying to do as much as humanly possible to. So I'm like, here we go. Now we're in business. Let me target these archers. Let me not literally worry too much. Let me just focus. Get stuff done. And I'm like, let me chase these bad boys down. So far so good, right? Nothing too crazy. He didn't, where he made his mistake, in my humble opinion, it's just all archers, right? He wasn't anticipating me to have any units because most House of Lancaster players don't have units, right? They just try to get greedy. So where he went wrong is the archers are good, but in my humble opinion, being that he didn't follow up and he didn't have any spearmen, right? This is kind of the issue that came into play. So my thought process was like, all right, archery range, barracks, let me start producing both, because now that he sees I have horses out, he is definitely going to start producing spearmen, right? So still trying to get stuff done. Got these out the way. Boom. Lost one demi lancer. Nothing too crazy though. So we're still in business. And at this point in time, I'm feeling pretty good, right? I defended an attack successfully. Didn't lose any villagers, I don't believe, right? I don't think I lost any villagers. But I'm feeling pretty decent, right? So here we are. One barracks, one archery range, and at this point in time, I'm like, I don't know if he's committing, but I'm going to try to go get some damage done on my own, and I'm like, oh, look who's coming back. So at this stage, still feeling decent. I just know I need to start producing more and more units, right? And I'm like, okay, he's definitely committed. I saw it at that point. I'm like, he's not stopping. So I literally have to try to make sure I have an army of my own. And the other thing that concerned me is literally, we know he had a blacksmith, right? Because he had to produce veteran RAM technology. So in my mind, I'm thinking that with him being committed, I'm probably going to be behind in upgrades as well, and that's not a good thing. Just my thought process. So I can't confirm or deny at this moment in time, because we're not looking at it from his perspective. But I'm like, I'm probably really going to be behind, right? He has a bigger army than me. In addition to having a bigger army than me, he has veteran RAM technology, and in addition to that, he's probably going to have upgrades that I don't have yet, right? So put down a 4th manor, making some more production buildings. I'm on gold. I don't remember what I do if I remain on gold, or if I move over and start grabbing food. And then I do see that I am producing a blacksmith. So at that point in time, I don't want to enter, because I don't want to take it off my vision, so we can keep it on what I'm doing, just so y'all can see, right? Like, not so much me being amazing or anything, but if we want to give accurate feedback and proper notes, I want, in the comment section, I want y'all to see where my head is at, what's going on. So at this point in time, I'm like, all right, let me start getting upgrades, right? I need upgrades just to match his upgrades that I may or may not have. And I see he's really, really committed. So, like, let me see what I can pick off on my own with my archers. See if we can get some stuff done. So, this is where we're at with it. So let's do that. Pick off a few units here and there. And that's what I wanted. So I'm like, alright, that's where we're at there. Go back. And feeling pretty good, feeling pretty good, feeling pretty good. Alright. Use my workers to clean that up. He's not anticipating that. I get done what I can get done. And now I'm attacking. Pull back. Lost one villager. Cool, cool, cool. No biggie. Still feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Still cooking. Still cooking. Lost one manor. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good, y'all. Put my workers back. So he's committing a lot, and he's losing a lot, right? So I'm like, now you've lost your army for the 2nd time, right? I'm feeling pretty good at this moment in time. So I'm like, all right, I'm feeling like I'm pretty much, I don't want to say ahead, because I've been known to blow leads, and at my skill level, I don't want to, like, traditionally speaking, this would mean you're ahead in the RTS. You know what I mean? You defend multiple times, right? You don't lose much. I'm feeling confident, right? But I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm doing the proper things to try to capitalize on that lead. So now I'm like, all right, let me come down here and let me switch, and let me start putting the pressure myself and see what we can get done. So see, he has pilgrims coming. I'm like, all right, we're gonna put an end to that, and we're gonna put my own pressure in the grand scheme of things, right? So I'm like, gonna come around with the horses, see if anything can get done with my remaining demi-lancers. At this point in time, still feeling pretty comfortable. Feeling pretty comfortable, y'all. So, see, I got the melee upgrade coming, and then behind that will be siege engineering, because now I want to force him to stand on that business. Everything that he was doing earlier, I'm gonna need you to stand on that, right? So good, 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 good. I'm feeling comfortable in the grand scheme of things. And now I'm thinking it's safe to literally I'm gonna put the pressure because ideally I'm getting ready to make my own battering rams. But in addition to that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what are some things that could happen now that could potentially cause me harm, right? I feel like I'm up. I feel like I'm doing pretty well. What are some things that could come back and bite me in the butt? Um, so battering siege technology is almost done. Get ready to be able to make my own battering rams. And that's what we're going to do in a moment, y'all. That's what we're going to do. So, feeling pretty good. Wheelbarrow, I'm literally at this stage, like these are upgrades I don't normally get until age 3. But being that I saw he was so committed and I was like, let me start to get these economic upgrades and I'm gonna keep on the pressure. So as you see, I'm putting walls up because like I mentioned, I'm trying to think of things that can bite me in the butt. So he's not going to come through the front because I got full vision on the front, but he could send some horses and things around the back to cause problems. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, let me just make sure I'm prepared for things that I may or may not need. So at this stage of the game, I'm like, let's keep the pressure on instead of going not is it King's Palace, King's College a little bit for the upgrades. I decided to try to drop down a white tower around here. So you'll see that in a moment. So I'm doing that in addition to while I'm trying to keep the pressure on. And we're going to force him to now. He aged up, which means he doesn't have units because I killed his army, right? At least not a lot of units. So my thought process is, all right, let's make you stand on that business, y'all. We're going to make him stand on that business. And get all of these workers. Make you stand on all of that. Alright. So this is where I'm dropping the white tower. I was trying to drop it. He saw me. I'm like, alright. Cancel it because I don't want to lose the cash. And then I'm like, alright, well, let me drop it over here then. Since I can't get it there, let's drop it there. Come back in. Get workers. And white tower's going down. And GG. I felt like that was probably one of the cleanest games that I've played. Like just from start to finish, it felt good, right? All in all, I think I handled the pressure well. In my humble opinion, I also think that I countered well. Um, and I just tried to be mindful of as much as possible. So let's pop down here really quickly and let's see. It was this game. So as you can see, we're now both platinum. I don't know what he is. He's platinum, maybe 1, 2, 3. That looks like a 1 there. But I'm platinum 1 right now. He's platinum 1. But at the time, I was gold 3. At the time, I was gold 3, and at the time, I think he was platinum 1 still. So now they're here nor there. Let's take a quick look at things. Um, so overall timeline, he was putting on a lot of good pressure. Um, I'm super happy that I came back around and scouted. And I try to make sure I scout right my opponent just so I have an idea of what they're doing when they're doing it. My biggest upset that I would say, and the thing that I would change is I would go and I would have never went to the right side of the map at the beginning. When I dropped off those sheep, I should have immediately went back down to my opponent because I could have saw the amount of archers that he had already up in front of my face. But we'll get to that in a moment because I like to go over pros and cons in my humble opinion. So here's our total score of its theory, economy, technology, society. Who's higher in that regard? Um, Score wise, I dropped more, lost less, dropped more buildings, lost less buildings, had a larger army than his. Um, Economy wise, he was beating me stone, but everything else I did pretty decently. And then max wood per minute, he was beating me by one. Technology, let's take a quick gander. My technology score was higher, which is good. Ironically, I thought he would have been poking me with the amount of research, but it looks like I had a little few more things researched than he did. And it's society wise. Um, I ended up having more villagers. Intriguing. Was that because I dropped some of his villagers, or did I just end up producing more villagers? Um, can't say, right? But with that being said, let's go into pros and cons. So we'll start off with pros, right? This particular game, I felt good, right? I believe my scouting was good, right? So we saw I scouted a very, very big portion of the middle of the map, scouted all of the left side of the map, and scouted some of the right side of the map. As the game went on, I could definitely should have made my rounds over to scout the full right side, but that did not occur, right? So scouting wise, I feel like I did um decent job. I walked away with a decent chunk of sheep. Um, so that'll be pro number one. I did pretty decent scouting, and then the only thing that saved me is that I went back, of course, and I got back after I dropped off my sheep. I made it back to my opponent's base, and naturally, with making it back to my opponent's base, I was able to get eyes on first the blacksmith, and then second the archery ring. Right? Very, very important because I knew there was going to be pressure. I knew that the battering rams was coming, short travel distance on this map, short rush distance, and there would have been no reason for me to see those that one archer streaming across unless he planned on actually making use of archers and building battering rams. So that would be pro number one, right? Pro number two. Um, I believe that I defended well, right? There were two fights that occurred. I defended both of them. I won't say masterfully. I think I lost about three villagers between the two fights, but I think I did and handled it pretty decently. So just in regards to defending, right? I had my production up, two archery ranges, two barracks, um, but no. Two archery ranges, one barrack. I don't think I ever made a second barrack. Um, and then blacksmith, right? And I started getting my own upgrades just to try to counteract what he was doing. Um, the moment I identified that there was no barracks, I think that the executive decision that worked very well for me is when I ended up with my three manners, and then I immediately started knocking out that particular research, or not upgrade, but the research to get my demi lancers out. I knew I was going to be somewhat okay, right? At that point in time, I wasn't going to say that I was going to win things, but I knew I would be somewhat okay because the Demi Lancers, even though they're not super super amazing, I knew that they would be able to handle the archers, right? And if the archers were handled, the battering rams were pretty much irrelevant because those could be chased down after the fact, even if I would have had to chase them down, right? Um, so and then immediately producing my own set of archers and my own set of spearmen the moment I fumbled that first attack on his behalf, right? So I think I did a pretty good job there. What else? Um, I would say another pro would be, and this will probably be the last one, when I went on the offensive, right? When I went on the offensive, even though I defended well both attacks, right? There are times I would have had a tendency to just sit back in the base and continue to try to macro up and get ahead. I think I did a very good job of taking the offensive to him. I defended two attacks. I then turned around, took my army, and went on the offensive. I knocked off quite a few pilgrims. I got rid of some houses. I got rid of some of his production buildings, and I kept the pressure on from there, which in turn allowed me to end the game. And then I'll have one more pro, right? I'll say the fourth pro would be as I continued on with the offensive. I then in turn aged up and I continued the aggression by trying to put a white tower up in his base, at his base, etc. Even though it didn't go down the original location that I wanted it to, I then in turn rerouted and was putting it down in um outside of where his gold was, his full gold, right? So those would be the four pros, in my humble opinion. A lot more pros than usual, because God knows I always have a lot of cons. But those would be the four pros, right? Um, let's dive into cons. Con number one would be, even though I mentioned the pro as scouting, con number one would also be scouting, right? I should have been in that base a lot sooner. Um, After, like I mentioned, the moment I dropped off those sheep on the left side and from the middle, and I dropped them off at the base, I should have been right back to heading back to my opponent's base. Because with my skill level, I need all of the time in the world to see them coming, so I could have dropped down production a lot quicker, and basically prepared myself for the battle that was coming. So that would be con number one. Con number two would be, um, I would say probably losing the amount of villagers that I did. I didn't lose many, right? Like I lost about four, but I feel like I didn't even need to lose four. I probably should have only lost two, right? I don't want to say I got overzealous or over aggressive, but yet again, my micro, my macro, I'm not the greatest in the world, right? So, um, after I lost those two, when I was trying to use villagers to pick off um I was trying to use villagers to pick off the battering rams while I was also trying to micro on the second fight of not having my demi lancers going to spearmen, having the archers target appropriately. You get the point. So in the mix, I kind of lost another two villagers. That would be a con as well. So I lost about four. um Another con would be, um what else? What else? Um, Idle villagers, right? This particular game, I did a lot better than usual, and I'm happy about that, right? 32 seconds is like diamond standard for me. There have been games where I've had idle villagers for 2 and 3 minutes, and this is not an exaggeration, y'all. So I guess we could put this in the pro category, but I'm gonna say con because I don't even want idle villagers for anything more than 5-10 seconds, right? So 32 is a step up and it's better, yay, but I would still label that as a con, right? Is there anything else? I would say those are probably the three cons that come to mind. This was one of the cleanest games I've played. I don't have many, so I'm gonna kind of, pat myself on the back for that. But I am comfortable with my overall performance as a whole. Um, so yeah, I had about four pros. This guy's first YouTube video where I had more pros than cons. That does not happen often. Like we can get down and even get more technical. Like he quit right as the age up finished. So there are other things that if the game went on, there are probably more things that we could talk about, right? Like in other words, dropping down um the monastery and collecting relics, right? I can't list that in the pro or con because we didn't even get to that stage of the game. The game ended before the moment I hit age 30, right? So with what occurred, I'm comfortable with the game as a whole. I'm happy about my performance. Any questions, comments, or concerns that you have, definitely feel free to put them in the comment section below. As I mentioned, just two things. Number one, remain respectful. Number two, stay on topic. And yet again, any pointers, any tips, any tricks, anything that you have that can allow me to improve and get better, I'm all ears, ladies and gents. Definitely mean that. With that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you. God willingly, we can do this again another time. Definitely feel free to like, follow, share, and subscribe just to get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Additionally, I live stream, of course, Age of Empires 4, which is, of course, where these games come from, whether you may or may not know that. But definitely come and hang out with me live. You can check me out live over on mygamingjourney.com. You can also check me out live over on Twitch and Kick. The links will be in the description. Primarily, I'm streaming, you know, uh, primarily, this changes, but this is kind of the schedule that I'm trying to adhere to. There are very, in various reasons as to why I may not be live at these particular times, but Mondays and Wednesdays, I try to go live 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Fridays, I try to go live between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. There are days when I may go, a little longer, a little shorter, but that's kind of the schedule that I am trying to adhere to at this moment in time, ladies and gents, right? So definitely check me out over on the live stream as well. And yeah, appreciate each and every one of you. Love you, praying for you. And yeah, God willingly, we can do this again another time. MyGamingJourney.com. I'll see y'all again soon.